York's Central Park is an urban oasis for Manhattan neighbors and tourists alike. And for Addison Pusateri, it's one of his favorite places to decompress.
It's definitely laid back. It's never too crowded in one place because there's so many places that you can go. There's people riding their bikes by, joggers. There's a bunch of tourists and a bunch of neighbors, and everyone is really calm, cool, and collected.
But while out, enjoying a leisurely afternoon, Addison and his boyfriend get a rude awakening.
There was a musician singing. She was very soft, serene.
The singer's performance isn't music to everyone's ears.
A man with his dog walks up and starts yelling at her, telling her she's ruining his walk. I started recording, I think, at this point. My boyfriend is feeling really bad for her. So he goes up and gives her a $20 bill. And as he's giving her the money, the man yelling at her kind of directs his anger at my boyfriend.
Oh, no, neither is she. She's not supposed to be here. Now go about your business and mind your own damn business.
To insult the local neighbors to the fullest extent, he resorts to calling them the worst name of all.
You're tourists. You're here for 5 minutes. You don't live here.
Before Addison can jump to his boyfriend's defense, his New York neighbors do it for him as he records the action.
All day long. Do you have to listen to this every day? Okay? She's not supposed to be here.
Grace, shut the up and go to your country house.
You should mind your own business.
You
should mind yours.
More people kept getting involved until it was almost like a whole crowd versus this man who's just berating this woman still, as everyone's telling him, you should leave.
Instead of taking a hint, the indignant neighbor doubles down and tries to unplug the singer's amp.
I don't know if he's gonna try and break her equipment. It's really kind of tense at this moment.
You're a jackass, dude.
Leave. Go away.
You got nothing better to do?
I'm retired. I live here. My dog wants to be in the car. I have nothing better to do. What I don't want to do is have to listen to her for once.
To put an end to the ornery neighbor's onslaught, the performer gives in and agrees to turn down the volume.
I can see it in her eyes. She's had enough, and she starts playing music again, and it becomes kind of a soundtrack to him arguing with people.
Leave. Leave.
The neighbor finally retreats, but not without a foreboding promise.
I'll be back.
Okay, bye, Karen. Have a great day.
As for Addison, he is happy he didn't need to physically get involved, so he could capture the neighbor's irrational interaction.
I am relieved for the musician, and I am happy to have seen so many people come to her defense. The people in New York do still have heart, and they jump in to defend whoever's the victim of the situation.
Shut the up and go to your country house.
New York City. If there's one thing that stresses neighbors out in this busy metropolis, it's getting places on time. So when this woman tries to board a bus when it's not at an official stop, her neighbors are not impressed.
No, we don't let you on like that, no.
After being denied entry, the neighbor decides to hold everyone hostage by walking in front of the bus.
Are you serious? She's gonna make everybody late? She needs to be arrested.
As the neighbor gestures to other vehicles to pass, the driver has little choice but to slow roll behind her.
Get out of the way, old lady!
While the neighbors on board throw down some real talk. But instead of backing down, this neighbor risks her own safety.
Lay on the horn. Just lay on the horn the whole time.
Even the sound of the horn doesn't faze her. Finally, after a 7-minute holdup, the passenger stops recording, and the bus driver succeeds in getting past the human obstacle. However, while this lady may feel entitled to be on the bus again tomorrow, she will not be welcomed by these neighbors.
You did it!
Kids riding bikes is a common sight in the neighborhood. From hesitant first wobbles to confident displays of skill.
I think he's gonna make it. Oh, he didn't. Oh, and that very hurt.
In a family neighborhood of Santa Ana, California, a 12-year-old child has a camera attached to him as he pedals down the street. But on the footpath is a neighbor who lives a few doors away, and she is on the warpath.
And that one too. Get the hell
off the sidewalk now.
Excuse me?
Get off the sidewalk.
Please don't touch me. Why'd you just hit me?
The boy claims that as the neighbor pushes him off the sidewalk, she slaps him in the back. But instead of apologizing, the neighbor threatens him.
Want me to hit you again? You tried to run
Mom!
on the sidewalk.
Mom!
Hey, come on out, Mom. Hey, Mom.
She just hit me!
The boy's mother, who has had run-ins with his neighbor before, appears, and she is not liking what she's hearing.
You hit my child?
Yes, she did. Yes, she just did.
He tried to run us down on the sidewalk
I did not.
and lied to us.
I have a video.
It's a great thing that there's a camera strapped to his chest.
Tried to run us
The
down.
news that the boy is recording the incident seems to incite this self-proclaimed home association board member even more.
Good. Come on, boy. Just get it on. Let me
Get
see
away
it.
from me.
Come on.
Get away
Come
from
on.
me.
Come on.
He touches me.
And bizarrely, the neighbor starts yelling for the cops.
Hey, we're here on the police.
You need
Go
to
get him.
Go away. This is crazy.
Shame on
Numerous
both of you.
videos.
And shame on Dad.
Hearing the commotion, the child's father comes to investigate.
Absolute. He's got the whole thing on camera.
With the board member.
I have it on camera, I did not.
No.
Yelling at him. I can be on the
You touched my child and then calling the cops.
After the family show the video footage to the police, the neighbor is arrested and charged with assault. She is ordered to take anger management classes and write an apology note, which the mother says she is still waiting for. When the mom investigates, it turns out that the neighbor is not even on the HOA board. So according to mom, this neighbor is full of hot air.
Why'd you just hit me?
The homeowners on this Brooklyn block install ultrasonic repellents.
You have a motion sensor that's designed to be painful.
It turns out to repel more than rats.
You have an object that's designed to be painful that goes off repeatedly when people walk by. It's really, oh my God, please.
Then move.
I live next door.
The device is a high-pitched warning sound meant to be triggered by the scurrying of rats, not the neighbor walking her dog.
Is it bothering you right now?
It is indeed.
Then
The
go
reason I
inside.
said-
The homeowners have lived in the neighborhood for over 2 decades, while the annoyed neighbor moved in only a year ago.
I just want you to please take down the sensor. It's really painful. It's going off right now.
Rat repellents are designed to emit frequencies higher than what people can usually detect.
And the dog can hear better than her. Why the dog so calm if it's such an annoying? Oh, here they are.
Then cops arrive.
I did spend time trying to look up, information about whether or not this is legal. And I couldn't in Googling find anything specific.
The officers tell her they can do nothing. So not only do the sensors stay up, but the homeowners later put up 3 more.
It hurts!
A message their neighbor now gets loud and clear.
Oh my God, please!
Then move.
In Paso Robles, California, hanging out at the neighborhood skate park is a rite of passage for 15-year-olds like Justin Correa, even though it's not always the safest place to be.
Our nickname for it is called Scum Park, and scum is like another word for like a not so nice area, kind of more dangerous area. It's some crazy stuff happens down there sometimes.
Justin and his friends were filming each other doing tricks, but their day does a 180 when a much younger neighborhood kid shows up.
I'm guessing he's like 10, nah, younger than that. I say around like 8 to 10 range or something like that, but he just starts taunting us. He's picking up our boards, throwing them.
I think he's up.
Insulting us even.
You, I'm a skateboard master.
Not my board, dude. Oh, can you please leave? Please just go away until this is over.
After Justin and his buddies tell the younger kid to beat it, he runs to his mom, who is waiting nearby, and says they swore at him. She appears in a fury.
How old are you?
All the time I hear people saying bad words to him over here. You dumbass.
So the mom comes over to us and she's definitely feisty or angry. She's going off on us. She's telling us to not say bad words and don't say bad words around her kid as she's saying bad words to us in that same exact sentence.
And if F-bombs aren't enough,
I should not be asking a
mom these kind of questions.
She's about to start a generational war.
You know, I used to skate. I don't skate anymore. It's none of your damn business. Why? But we were actually more respectful to each other. We respected each other. You guys are punks nowadays.
Hey, I didn't do anything, ma'am.
Are you videoing me?
Mama, can I ask you something? He's gonna put that on YouTube and he's videoing you.
I don't care.
Hey,
The mom may say she doesn't care, but once she realizes her foul-mouthed tirade is being recorded, she starts to chill out.
At 8 years old, when you guys were 8, don't you remember trying to fit
getting
in?
in our way. I almost ran into him.
Tell him to get the out of the way. Tell him just to leave. Or, you know, just do whatever you gotta do. You don't have to be mean to a kid to tell him to get out of the way.
I think the mom calms down because we didn't respond back with as much force as she did. So I think it was us two that made her calm down, but she might have also just gotten a lot of that emotion out.
Now mom's run out of steam, and the pair leave the park. Justin and his neighbors return to shredding, knowing that they were the ones acting like the grown-ups in the park today.
The advice that I have for the kid is be conscious of your actions, you know, live life. One day I hope to see the kid up and shredding. You know, he can come skate with us. I don't mind. We can all be friends.
For anglers, living near an accessible lake that's a good fishing spot is a dream come true. And it's why lifelong Georgia resident Samuel Ibrahim loves his neighborhood.
Go do some fishing, boys.
The neighborhood that I live in, we have a nice little lake, and I really enjoy fishing. You know, I love being out there and just relaxing. You know, we don't really get a lot of drama.
One day, while Samuel and his friend are filming fishing videos to post on social media, the relaxing afternoon is interrupted when he sees his friend being confronted by a pair of angry neighbors.
My friend and I were just out there fishing, and then I noticed that the older couple was actually starting to approach him, so I just started sprinting over there to see what was going on. I've seen the lady a couple times before, but this is actually my first time seeing the man.
Samuel approaches the couple scolding his friend, ready to hear their complaints about him and his friend fishing.
You're not supposed to be fishing here. This is private property.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
See that?
It's H-O.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
Come here, I got something to show you.
The couple insists again and again that the lake is actually owned by their homeowners association. But Sam, having dealt with issues like this before, has come prepared to prove the lake is public.
I actually went out and printed a tax document with the land on it, showing that it was indeed owned by the county and not by the HOA of the neighborhood.
All right, you see this? See that piece of land? That's that right there. Who owns it? Gwinnett County.
That's right, but it's our HOA.
No, it's not.
This is our HOA lake that we
It's not
pay
private.
$100 a month for.
It's not private. Well, this is public. It's not HOA.
No,
The lot down there, yo, no.
HOA.
No, it's not.
I'll tell you what, I'll have
the police explain it to you.
Or you can. I'll show them this.
Kind enough to tell me your name.
I'm not gonna tell you my name.
They started asking me for my name, and I didn't want to tell them because I have no idea what they can do with my name.
We're getting the cops calling us. We're fishing in a, we're fishing in a lake.
Samuel and his friend walk away from the older couple and decide to cast a few more lines while they wait for police to arrive and to talk a little smack about their neighbors.
I pay $300 a month.
I pay more for my MTB boxes.
I was already pretty frustrated with the whole situation, so I could have been more respectful, but I was just fed up by this point. I just wanted a one good day of fishing with my good old buddy.
No, we're gonna get 2 more signs.
Right after she tried to show us the signs, the man approached us, and I started talking to him one-on-one.
What are we doing that's wrong to disturb you? Just let me in on that.
Is it wrong to steal?
Not stealing.
What does that mean to you? If somebody steals from me,
Well, what are we stealing? What are we stealing?
are you doing what's right? You're breaking the law.
We started being very calm and civil. I can tell that he's not going to let up anytime soon, so we ended up leaving just to avoid any other bad things.
Oh, shoot. I got my fishing license in here, too.
The police never arrive, so Samuel and his friend pack up for the day and leave this prized fishing lake behind with no plan to return. And though these neighbors may have taken away a great fishing hole, as any angler knows, there's no use dwelling on the one that got away.
I am definitely a little bit upset that they ended up ruining a spot that I've been going to for a very long time. But, you know, there are plenty of spots around where I live, and I ended up finding some better ones.
Rapid City, known as the City of Presidents, lies just a few miles from Mount Rushmore. But in this City of Presidents lies a neighborhood run by a lady in pink, and she's letting whatever power she thinks she has go all the way to her headband. Neighbors Marissa Silva and her family are tired of living under her tyranny and are ready to give the lady in pink her pink slip. Marissa enjoys visiting her mother and stepdad Andy. She also enjoys visiting her parents' neighbor.
She at first was very friendly with my mom, very welcoming with both of us. And then it was just like a flip of the switch.
We've got it all fixed up and ready.
The sheriff's department's tired of you.
All you have to do is call the lawyers. Bam, you're out of here, buddy.
My mom's boyfriend was a mechanic, and so he'd be working on his car out in the garage, and she had such an issue with it. Would come over and say, that's an eyesore. Nobody wants to see that. This is a nice neighborhood. You can't do that kind of thing. And so she had all these rules: no barbecuing on your driveway, no working on vehicles in your garage, being parked on the street too long in front of the house, too many people parked on the street at the same time. She even called the cops one time, and there's nothing that they could do. And I think it irritated her that she couldn't do anything and we weren't going anywhere. It was just ridiculous.
It all comes to a head one summer afternoon when Marissa, her mother, and Andy are outside in their driveway.
It was 4th of July weekend, and they had bought a new barbecue, and so we were all out front in the driveway, and we were building it. She had come over and started yelling at, you can't build that out here. She just went off from there.
We have attorney, and we have the cops after. They said every time like this goes on, we're supposed to call them enough times, and then they're going after.
Call them.
Oh, you shut the up.
In the video, you can hear my mom in the background just screaming at her from across the street.
Oh, bad. I'm really scared of you guys. Really scared of you.
Up until now, Marissa's stepdad, Andy, is relatively quiet.
Andy.
Stop and listen for a second. I'm gonna slap a lawsuit against you. Do you understand that?
He started walking towards her, and I was like, Andy, like I was scared. I was like, nobody needs to touch anybody. She has a headband on. I don't know what kind of Jane Fonda she's gonna do. So it was just kind of an intense situation.
Listen, because you're so illegal living here. You got more than one family. You're not even married. So we can have you kicked out anytime.
Negative.
By the lawyer.
Negative.
Positive.
Negative.
Positive.
Negative.
Positive.
Negative.
Positive.
If this was to go on any longer, I knew my mom would probably go over and lay her out.
You might want to look at your laws first.
So we got the lawyers.
Obviously, you're not that smart then.
Yeah, you are.
Your bylaws are.
No, they're not.
As the two continue arguing, the attacks turn more personal.
Oh, guys are so sick and jealous. You are so sick and jealous of everybody. You have
jealous of what?
Everybody. You don't have two nickels to rub together. We're building a brand new home. Are you building a brand new home? You're a zero. You guys are just so freaking weird. Nothing but troublemakers.
Luckily, Marissa and her parents don't need to deal with the lady in pink anymore.
She and her husband ended up selling their house and moving. It was nice. It was like a breath of fresh air, and I didn't have to worry about when I was going to visit. We had a huge barbecue on the driveway. It was just one of those moments where everybody finally could not worry about being harassed.
Oh, you shut the up.
And Marissa had some advice for anyone else under the thumb of a neighborhood bully.
Stand your ground. Standing up for ourselves was the best thing that we could have done. I wouldn't have done it any different way.
Marissa and her family will continue to rebel against made-up neighborhood rules. One lady in pink at a time.
Negative.
Positive.
Negative.
Positive.
Negative.
Positive.
Negative.
Positive.
There's a much smaller smoking section in the neighborhood these days, forcing some neighbors to take their cigarette breaks outside their windows, or pushing them to the rooftops, like this city woman having a quick puff. But in a small Ontario suburb, smoking on the street still isn't far enough for one neighbor.
Your excessive smoking and unusual behavior parked directly in front of my home every single day, every 2 hours, constitutes some sort of criminal activity that I'm simply not comfortable with.
A man records his neighbor complaining about the smoking habits occurring in front of her house. The man's son likes to hang out by his car, which is parked on a public road, and smoke.
Is there a reason why all of you need to be standing in front of my home every single day, every 2 hours? We're not in front of your home.
After a few minutes, she goes inside, and things begin to calm down.
Perfect.
But a few days later, the neighbor is outside complaining again.
Okay, so then why are you in front of my house?
This is public street, you don't own it.
You live over there.
But this time, the father recording interrupts.
Excuse me?
My address. Please don't get involved. I have nothing to do with you. You're not stalking me, sir. Don't get involved.
You're the new problem.
I'm involved.
The man recording speaks up for his son as tempers rise.
This is a public road.
Why are you in front of
This
my
is
house?
apparently her house. Her house is way over there. I've lived here for 7 years.
And as the neighbors inch closer and closer,
You are in front of my home.
You're harassing us.
You are in front of my home.
You're harassing us.
any chance of ending this peacefully is quickly going up in smoke.
You're harassing us. You're still harassing.
And for nearly a half hour, they continue to argue in the street until eventually both sides walk away, leaving nothing resolved. The man claims he and his family are still at war with their neighbor.
Leave Karen alone. Leave Karen alone.
Where she continues to huff
So why are you in front of my home?
as long as they continue to puff.